Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Michael Fortin. I'm the Director of Promotion for the Maine Tax Portal here at Maine Revenue Services. I'm joined by our panelist from the Income and Estate Tax Division, Lisa Grayton, Deputy Director, and Jeff Bragdon, Tax Section Manager. And it's my pleasure to be your MC for our webinar on fiduciary for the new Maine Tax Portal that became available this week on October 10th, 2023, which marks our third rollout of the Maine Tax Portal. The portal is now open for individuals and most Maine businesses to file and pay taxes, view notices, and much more. You can visit the MTP information page to find out when you can get started for your specific tax type at maine.gov/revenue/portal. I'll give you that address again. It's maine.gov/revenue/portal. Before Lisa and Jeff get started with their presentations, I have a few housekeeping items to review with everyone. First, the raise hand button at the bottom of your Zoom screen will not be used for today's session, although you'll have many opportunities to ask questions. Attendees can simply type in your questions using the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and our panelists will answer as many questions as possible. If we're unable to address your questions live, then we will follow up via email following the webinar. There may be times when you'd like Lisa or Jeff to repeat a step that you've missed, or perhaps you're simply unable to watch the entire session today. Then it'll be helpful to know that today's webinar will be recorded and can be viewed by anyone who's registered. There are no documents or presentation materials that you'll need for today's webinar. Feel free to take notes, but know you can always rewatch the recorded material anytime you'd like to review it. And finally, we should be reminded there can be unexpected technical challenges. We need to remember that Lisa and Jeff are speaking to you live, and therefore we appreciate your understanding and ask for your patience if we should experience any technical difficulties. That concludes all of our housekeeping items, although one last point is, along with Lisa and Jeff today, behind the scenes we have Tabitha and Tyler helping us with the demonstration of the Maine Tax Portal, so we would like to thank them as well for their assistance. Lisa, let's get started.
Thank you, Mike, and hello to all of today's attendees. Tyler, Jeff, and I are excited to join you today to discuss and demonstrate a new Maine fiduciary income tax filing and payment opportunity. Let's get started. As Mike mentioned, the third phase of the Maine Tax Portal project is now live. To help you with this change, we would like to touch on two topics today. First, demonstrate how to file a Maine fiduciary income tax return using the Maine Tax Portal. And second, demonstrate additional features of the Maine Tax Portal that fiduciary income tax filers will be excited to see. We will use fictitious taxpayer information and our testing environment for today's demonstrations. You can access the Maine Tax Portal in three different ways. Directly from the MRS website at maine.gov/revenue and locate the Electronic Services drop-down menu. Also on the MRS website using the green Maine Tax Portal square, or by typing the Maine Tax Portal webpage directly into your browser's address bar, which is revenue.maine.gov. You may consider saving this direct link as a bookmark for future access. Once on the Maine Tax Portal, you can see a panel located in the upper right portion of the screen, which allows a user to log in. There are also many panels of non-logged in actions that could be taken further down on the screen. For this demonstration, we will navigate to the panel titled Quick Links and click on File a Return or Form. From here, we see more panels of actions we could take. We navigate to the Estates and Trusts panel and click on Submit Form 1041-ME. The first screen provides a review of general trust information, including the information you should have with you to successfully complete the filing. This is a good time to mention that if you need to step away from your computer at any point in the filing process, that your Maine tax portal session will time out after 15 minutes of inactivity. If you anticipate that you will be away from your computer for 15 or more minutes, then you should use the Save Draft button at the bottom of your screen to save your progress to that point. This prevents you from having to begin your data entry again from the beginning. For this demonstration, we do have all of our information handy, so we will select Next to proceed. We are asked to enter the EIN of the trust, estate, or qualified funeral trust. We enter the EIN for our trust, and then one more time to confirm. We also enter the name of our trust. And we are not amending, so we leave the default answer as no. And then we input our tax year end from the drop-down list of choices. We select year end 31 December 2022 for our calendar year 2022 trust filing, and then we select Next. If we were a paid preparer, we would input the applicable information on this paid preparer screen. We are not, so we will simply select Next. We are offered the opportunity to input a third-party designee. Input of information here would allow MRS to discuss the trust tax return with the party designated after confirmation that they can verify the PIN number. We do not wish to designate a third party today, so we will select Next to proceed. On the entity information screen, we input the type of entity we are completing a return for today. We choose Simple Trust. We leave the trust residency at resident. We input the date of trust creation of 1/1/2020. And we say no to the final return question. We do not wish to designate a contact, so we leave that blank and select Next. We are brought to the fiduciary information screen. We enter the name of the fiduciary or trustee, his ID type of SSN, and then we input his Social Security number. We also input the trustee's address. And once we've done that, we will click the blue link at the bottom of the screen to verify that the address meets the U.S. Postal Service formatting requirements. Once the address has been verified, we will select Next. We are brought to 4 questions. The answers will help guide us through the remainder of the 1041-ME filing process, allowing us to skip portions that are not relevant to this entity. We will answer yes, that we have fiduciary adjustments to report, but we will leave the other questions as no, and then we select Next. Schedule 1 additions are provided here. We do not have any additions to report, so we will select Next. We now see Schedule 1 subtractions. We input $800 on the U.S. government bond interest line. We do not have any other subtractions to report, and we can see that the screen automatically calculates the total subtractions and the net fiduciary adjustment for us. We select Next to proceed. We are brought to the Schedule 2, where we list the beneficiary allocation first. Our sole beneficiary, Bob Ross, received a $1,500 allocation, which was 10% of the total income. Bob is a Maine resident. We also input his SSN here. And we will select Next to go to the estate trust allocation screen next. On this screen, we input the remaining 90% of the income that the trust retains, which is $13,500, and then we select Next. We are brought to the fiduciary tax return income lines. We input $13,500 as the trust's federal taxable income. This represents 90% of the total $15,000 income, as we previously input that the trust retained 90% of the income. We also input $850 on the estimated payment line, as we did remit that amount to MRS earlier in 2022. As a separate note, Bob will receive a K-1 from the trust and appropriately report his 10% share of the income and the fiduciary adjustment subtraction on his Maine individual income tax return. As we are done inputting values on this screen, we will select Next to proceed. The return summary screen displays our return input thus far. We review the items to see that our tax calculation is the amount that we had expected, and the system has calculated an overpayment. Everything appears correct, so we will select Next. The attachment screen contains a list of recommended attachments that could support your fiduciary filing. This screen is a work in progress, and we do intend to make some changes before tax year 2023 returns are available to file in January of 2024. Currently, we are going to input a PDF copy of our federal Form 1041. We select the Add Attachment link. We choose our file type from the list, browse for the file, and then we click OK to attach it. This process can be repeated for each file type that you wish to add. We have added our only file, so we will select Next. The balance screen shows that we are overpaid and presumes that we want that amount refunded. If we wanted to have that amount carried forward to the next tax year, we would make that entry on the applicable line. We do want the $109 refunded to us, so we simply select Next. We do want the refund to be issued using direct deposit, so we answer yes here. The funds are not going to a bank outside of the US, so we answer no. We then input the bank's routing and account number, and then we select Next. The declaration screen displays. We check the box to declare that the information provided on this 2022 Maine Fiduciary Income Tax Return is true and correct. We enter the name of the person filing the return, and then once more for confirmation. Then we choose Submit to transmit the filing to MRS. We are asked to input a valid email address. This allows MRS to email the confirmation number to you for your records. The confirmation screen displays the email address previously input and the assigned confirmation code. This page can be printed for your records and will allow you to access the filing request in the future. It will also match the email message that you receive. We do encourage you to save this information for your records, as it is your proof of filing. Thank you for your time today. Please remember to add your questions to the Q&A section at any time. Now I'll turn the presentation over to Jeff.
Thank you, Lisa, and hello, everyone. Tyler and I would like to discuss and demonstrate some other Maine tax portal activities a fiduciary income tax filer may be excited to see. Let's start with the activities you can perform without being logged into a portal account. In the Quick Links panel, there is a Make a Payment link. This selection allows a taxpayer 3 additional payment choices. You may make a bill payment on a past due debt, you may make an estimated or extension payment on a future tax period, or if you are a real estate closing agent, you may remit a real estate withholding payment. Clicking on the type of payment you wish to remit gets you started. In the interest of time, we will not demonstrate this payment process in its entirety, but we want to assure you that the on-screen prompts are very easy to follow. We will transition back to the home screen of the Maine Tax Portal. Another feature we would like to point out is located in the Additional Services panel at the Find a Submission link. Earlier, Lisa mentioned that you could save a draft of a tax return filing if you had to step away to locate additional documentation. Saving a draft provides you with a confirmation code that you can use to retrieve the submission at a later time. A saved draft submission is saved for 120 days. We will transition back to the home screen of the Maine Tax Portal for one more non-logged in action that we would like to highlight today. This is also located in the Additional Services panel and is the Respond to a Letter functionality. Often, MRS mails letter correspondence to a taxpayer asking them to provide additional information to support their filing. If you or your client receives such a letter, use of this Respond to a Letter link is an easy and secure method to provide MRS with the additional information. By clicking the Respond to a Letter link, you are prompted to enter the specific letter ID that you are responding to and the date of the letter. This information can be found in the upper right-hand corner of all MRS correspondence after October 10th, 2023. Tyler will enter a letter ID and letter date, and then select Search. The screen returns the title of the letter for verification. Our letter was a request for information, so we select Continue. We are now provided with an opportunity to type a message to MRS in the text box and add any needed attachments. We are very excited about this method of taxpayer communication as it cuts down on mail delays and additional postage costs for our taxpayers. Now we are going to cancel out of this action and return to the main screen of the Maine Tax Portal. There are some activities we want to highlight today that require a one-time username creation and then use of that username for any future login of your Maine Tax Portal account. To create a username, we select Create a Username. We are prompted with 4 choices. We are going to create a username for a trust, so we choose I represent a business or organization, and then select Next. We review the list of required information. We have our FEIN and amount of our trust refund from one of our last 3 years of Maine Trust returns. So we select Next to proceed. We input the ID type of Federal Employer ID, the FEIN, and account type to validate against. Then we select Next. We are asked to select if we are verifying against the tax amount or refund amount or a letter ID from an MRS letter. We choose the first one as we are going to use our refund amount, and then select Next. We select tax refund amount and enter $30 as the amount of our overpayment on our 2022 fiduciary return. We select Next to proceed. We are now prompted to create our username, input our first and last name, our email address twice, and answer whether we want paperless mail delivery. Please note that some types of correspondence from MRS are legally required to also be mailed, so this will not be a completely paperless choice if yes is chosen. We must set up our security choices by inputting our password twice. Please also note the password hyperlink that provides information on MRS password requirements. Once we've entered our password, we select a secret question from the list of choices and input the answer. Lastly, we enter the primary phone number for our user, Mary Smith. When complete, we select Next. We are provided a summary of the contact information that we have input thus far. If we needed to make a change, we would use the Previous button to step back and make corrections. Everything is correct, so we select Submit to finish our username creation. We are asked to input a valid email address. This allows MRS to email the confirmation number to you for your records. The confirmation screen displays the email address previously input and the assigned confirmation code. This page can be printed for your records. Let's go back to the home screen and log into our newly created account. We input the username and password we just created and then choose Login. Since this is our first login, we are prompted to set up the two-step verification method that best suits our needs. We prefer to receive text messages for our security code, so we choose the Add Phone link in the text message panel. We input our phone number and carrier, then hit Save. In a non-testing environment, we would be provided a text message with our security code, which we would input on the screen here. In our testing environment, we will click the Populate link to simulate this security code. We then choose Confirm. Please note that you will only be asked to set this verification method up once, but will be required to input the new code generated each time you log in. Now that we are logged into the Maine Tax Portal account for our fictitious business, let's discuss a few other features. We can see that we have access to view the fiduciary income tax account in the panel on this screen. We see there is a balance due and wish to make a payment. We have two options for doing this while logged into our portal account. We could click on the Make a Payment link within the fiduciary panel. This would bring us to the payment entry screen where we input the payment method and amount to pay. We can either pay the entire current balance or toggle to choose a lesser amount to pay. We can also make payment arrangements another way too. Let's click on the name of our business to navigate back to the summary screen that we were previously on. Now we will click the More tab for additional actions we have available. In the Payments and Returns panel, we click the Manage Payments and Returns link. This screen is set up as a modified search engine. We leave the accounts choice as all. We go to the center panel labeled Show and click the arrow near Returns. From the drop-down list, we choose Balances. The results show the 2021 period with a balance due. We click on the period link itself and more details display. We can see that we filed the 2021 return late in 2023 and that we have accrued interest and penalties along with our unpaid tax amount. We also see a Make a Payment link at the top of the screen. Clicking that link provides us with the same payment screen as we displayed previously. Let's hit Cancel and then click on the name of our business to navigate back to the More screen. The last item we want to draw your attention to today is how to submit a power of attorney form using your portal account. We navigate to the Account Management Requests panel and click on the Add a Power of Attorney link. We input the last and first name of the representative that we wish to designate as our POA. We enter a company name if our representative is not self-employed. It is important to note that you must designate a specific person to be your POA and not an entire tax office. Once this is complete, we select Next. We input our representative's mailing address. and then click the blue link to ensure the address is formatted according to USPS requirements. Once verified, we select Next. We then input the telephone and email address of our representative. A box exists for the user to provide additional POA information that you would like MRS to be aware of. Once complete, we select Next. Lastly, we are brought to the attachment screen. We select the Add Attachment link, add a description name, browse for our file, then click OK to attach it. Once the file is added, we select Submit. The confirmation screen displays the assigned confirmation code for your POA submission. This page can be printed for your records. It is important to note that even though you have provided the representative information electronically, that the power of attorney form attachment is still required to be completed thoroughly and accurately. This includes using the proper Maine form along with entries for the proper tax account, years, and signatures from all parties. MRS will not honor any POA that is not complete. For more information, please see the instructions for Form 2848ME on our website at maine.gov/revenue. Thank you for your time today. Now I'll turn the presentation back over to Mike.
Thank you very much, Jeff. We'd like to invite our audience to ask any questions you may have in the Q&A area. Please send those questions in now, and we'll give you a few moments to do that. While we're waiting, we'd like to take a quick look at the Maine Tax Portal information page, which contains a lot of helpful information. Right now, we're at the Maine Revenue Services website, so you see that on your screen. The address there is maine.gov/revenue, and we're going to scroll the page down and look under the heading Important Updates. You'll see the second link from the top, Important Information about the Maine Tax Portal. We're going to click that link, and that brings us right to the Maine Tax Portal information page. If you would like to bypass the Maine Revenue Services homepage and type in the address directly into your browser's address bar, you can simply type in maine.gov/revenue/portal, and it will bring you right here. So we'll scroll down just a bit. Underneath the graphic there, you'll see a list of all of the taxes programs that are currently in the Maine Tax Portal. There's 3 columns of them that have been the culmination of the first 3 rollouts now of the Maine Tax Portal, including the fiduciary income. You'll see the second one in the list, the third column, which is why you're here today. So if you'd like to see if all of your taxes are currently active or what's active in the system, you can take a look there. We have a group of blue buttons underneath the list, and we'll take a look at those. First one is the Maine Tax Portal login button, that first button there. So if you happen to be on the Maine Tax Portal information page and would like a quick and easy way to simply jump over to the Maine Tax Portal itself to perform any logged in or non-logged in activities, you can conveniently click the button and it will bring you right there. The second button, the FAQs, we'll click that and look at that page. So the FAQs are a summary of all of the questions that we have received from prior training webinars. So attendees like yourself have sent in questions. We have summarized them and listed them here so they can be easily, you can look through them very easily. You can find under the various headings perhaps something you're interested in. And if you have a question, even after today, if you're wondering about something about the Maine Tax Portal, there's a good chance that an FAQ is there that will help answer that question. So it's a good resource for you. We're going to go click back now and go back to the main page. The third button, instructional videos, we'll click that one as well. And those are a series of videos. So you get a guided demonstration narrated on various topics, various features and functions of the Maine Tax Portal. So if there's something that you would like to learn more about, you can watch that short video, and it's just a great way to learn all about the Maine tax portal. And that's available for you 24 hours a day, so you can get help whenever you need it. We'll take a moment, though, and look at one video in particular under the Getting Started section. The second video from the top is setting up a third-party account. Wanted to point that out because in case there's any practitioners in the audience, and if any of our attendees work closely with a practitioner, this may be of interest to you, and having your practitioner access your Maine tax portal information. That is something that you can set up. It is an easy process where the practitioner will go into their Maine tax portal account and request access to a client's information and make that request in the system through the portal, and then the taxpayer will go in on their account and approve that request and then make that connection possible. So that video explains the process, how it works, makes it very, very easy to set that up. So we wanted to call your attention to that video. So we'll go ahead and click back now and take a look at what else is on the page. We have the 4 rollout boxes, these 4 blue boxes on your screen. They are the 4 individual rollouts or phases of the Maine tax portal. And of course, we just made it to rollout 3. So if you hover over the box, it will show you the list of taxes and programs that were brought in for that rollout. You can see fiduciary income is the second one on the list there under rollout 3. But if you're interested in looking ahead to the final or 4th rollout of the Maine tax portal in October of 2024, you can take a look there as well. And then that will complete the integration of the new system. At the bottom of the page in the olive green colored section, you'll see information about webinars. So today you signed up for the fiduciary session and were able to, you probably came here and clicked this button already to get here, but we do have other sessions coming up. There are additional topics in the weeks and months to come. So we encourage you to look through that list. And if you would like to sign up for something different or perhaps even repeat a session that you've already taken, please take advantage of those training sessions, attend as many times as you like. Webinar recording button is where you can access recordings of prior training webinars. Right now, you'll see the recordings from the first 2 rollouts, and then selected videos as they complete for rollout 3 will be added. So at the end of the rollout 3 training series, then all of the videos for each topic will be posted there. But in the meantime, of course, we're recording today's session, and you don't have to wait for the website to be updated. We will email a link tomorrow to all of the attendees so that you can access that recording quickly and replay any portion that you'd like. And then one last piece to point out is our contact information. So if you have a question that comes up that maybe something after we've closed out our webinar today, you'd like to reach out to us, please do that. Any questions about the portal, about your specific accounts and so forth, reach out to our Taxpayer Contact Center. So the email address and phone number, I'll read those for you, and they're right underneath the blue boxes on your screen. The email address is taxpayerassist@maine.gov. Once again, taxpayerassist@maine.gov. And that telephone number is 207-624-9784. One more time, 207-624-9784. So thank you for your attention on that. It looks like we have answered all of the outstanding questions. I don't see anything that's come in, nothing open. So we'll begin to close out our session today. The first thing I'd like to do, though, is thank our presenters for such a job well done today. So thanks to Lisa and Jeff, and also to Tyler and Tabitha, the work behind the scenes in making this possible. And we'd like to thank each of our attendees for you taking the time out of your afternoon to learn about the Maine Tax Portal. We greatly appreciate that. As a reminder, we have recorded today's session, and we will send out a link tomorrow to all of the attendees to the Zoom site where you can view the recording. If any of our attendees submitted a question today that we need to research further before we can get back to you, we will follow up via email and be in contact with you, and happy to do that. We'd like to recap a few of the important points that we've discussed today, that the Maine Tax Portal is now open for individuals and for most Maine businesses to file and pay taxes, view notices, and much more. And that Fiduciary became live on October 10th, 2023. So this week, Fiduciary was open and available. So you can visit the Maine Tax Portal information page. That website one more time, maine.gov/revenue/portal. And when you're there, you can take advantage of all the training resources we talked about, and you can learn when each of the various tax types became active or will become active in the portal. If anyone has a question, please reach out to us. That email address and phone number one more time. The email address, taxpayerassist@maine.gov, and the telephone number, 207-624-9784. So we will now conclude our webinar for the day. We'd like to thank you for attending and wish you a great rest of your day.